Hey everyone, this is Andy Hall. This is the Disappointed Cat Morning Show. We're going to cover up. We're not going to cover up. We're going to reveal. We're going to reveal news stories and do some comedy. Right? Have a chuckle, have a laugh, enjoy ourselves. If you're watching on Facebook, hello Facebook. You might be watching on the Laughing in Disbelief Facebook page, or you might be watching on Atheist Comedy Burrito, which is a Facebook group, has, 5,600 followers or subscribers? I don't know what you would call them, members. Over 5,600 members at Atheist Comedy Burrito. Hello. I hope you're doing well this morning. News stories that we are talking about: woke Coke. We're not talking about Coca-Cola. We're talking about the white powdery stuff. CPAC priest. All you need is Jesus. Is that all you need? You don't need love. You need Jesus. Cubans revolting in Havana. And the rioter, the insurgent from the January 6th, I don't know what you call, would-be rebellion over the Capitol. She is claiming that she's getting rid of her lawyers. And this may not be a news story, but it is educational. We're going to talk about the world's deadliest cat, according to one metric at least. What's going on in Jacksonville, Florida? There's just so much we're going to do. Andy, why are you talking? Why don't you just switch over to doing something funny? All right, we're going to do something funny. I just want everyone to note that there's no ads here. This is an ad-free zone. I could throw up ads. I have thrown up ads, but I hate ads. I would prefer, and this is a choice I made, is that this is going to be completely viewer funded. So thank you, YouTube members. Thank you, patrons. Now let's do something funny.
Thank you for coming in. What an excellent interview. I just want to make sure that you're familiar with a few of the terms that we use around the office to make ourselves feel good. Are you ready? Okay. Low-hanging fruit. Shit that's easy. Stretch goals. Shit that's hard. Agile. Make it up as we go. Call to action. Telling people to buy your shit by telling people to buy your shit. Content marketing. Telling people to buy your shit by not telling people to buy your shit. Disruptive. Shit that's probably not going to work. Very good. Bounce. People leaving your websites because they're shit. Churn. People leaving your products or services because they're shit. Turnover. People leaving your company because it's shit. Direct mail. Spam. Email list. Spam. Newsletters. Spam. Cold email. Spam. Spam. Spiced ham. KPI. A metric designed to make employees feel bad about themselves. Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Well, how about that? In case those of you needed to know or to catch up on your business lexicon, to increase your business lexicon. Well, there you go. That video was informative and comical at the same time. I'm going to check out the chat, see how everyone's doing this morning. If you're on YouTube, I can see your chat. If you're on Facebook, probably not. So if you wanted to come over to YouTube and join us in the chat, that would be fantastic. Good morning, Simply Secular. Dave from the West Coast. Yeah, I think things are going okay for me this morning. I got a good amount of sleep. So, yeah. What's up, Tobin? Hope you're doing well this morning. Derek Cruz. And, the girlfriend, as you probably already know, everyone, I've never really had an office job, but I am acquainted with George Orwell's classic 1984 and doublespeak. Newspeak, that's what it is. Newspeak. And that's what seems to be a lot of business speak, is newspeak. What's up, Scott Duke? Hope you're doing well. All right. So, you want to take a look at a couple of memes? Oh, well, no. Do I have any announcements to make? That's a very good question. I am going to be going down with my friend, Dennis Mailer, on Sunday night. So there's not going to be a show probably on Sunday night, at least not a live show. There might be a recorded show, but I'm going down to Mohegan Sun. I'm going to watch Dennis perform, doing some live comedy. Mohegan Sun is a casino. I think it's in Connecticut. I don't think it's that long a drive, but that's what I'm going to be doing this Sunday night. So there will not be a live show at 10:30 p.m. Eastern this Sunday, but I might cobble something together. Or I might do an interview and just upload it on that time slot. What's up, Jessi Bear? What is Andy? What is Andy? Is Andy Dr. Kennard? I've just decided that I am transitioning from just calling myself Andrew Hall and just going with Dr. Kennard full time. The people of Pathos love me for it. They asked me to sign up for some meeting, and I'm like, Dr. Kennard, and then in parentheses, I put in my real name, Andy Hall. But at some point, I'm not going to put in my real name, and I'm just going to go with that handle, Dr. Kennard. All right. Comedy, memes, comedic memes. All right, well, let's do some of those. Dun, 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 dun. Got that Bo Burnham song in my head. Oh, one of his songs. Oh, hey, shout out to all the secularists and the humanists and the atheists out there. Original Sin, I just got here. What did you do? You did nothing, my friend. You just showed up. Showed up in a world gone mad where people think you were born broken. All right, here's the next one. Meanwhile, in Scotland. Oh, the confusion. The confusion. And this one, it's important to be pro-feline, I think, to be pro-cat and not anti-dog. You can be pro-cat and at the same time not be anti-dog. That is possible. I'm more of a cat person than I am a dog person, but that doesn't mean I dislike dogs. It just means that I like that my lifestyle accommodates cats better. That being said, you can also be pro-cat while taking a skeptical look at canines. And this is a meme right here that shows that. My cat watching the fireworks while your bitch-ass dog hides under the bed. Oh, such strong language here, so early in the morning. Of course, many of you are overseas, and so this is like proper midday language. Uncalled for verbal assault against dogs, everyone. That wasn't nice. Not nice at all. All right. Let's go with, you just want to do news stories this morning? Let's just get right down to business. Woke coke. And that's cocaine to you and me, everyone. Drug dealers marketing ethically sourced cocaine. Now, there's an argument that they make here in this article, and the links are in the description, everyone, that there's no such thing as ethically sourced cocaine. And tell me if I'm wrong, audience. Tell me if I'm wrong, chat, that a lot of these anti-drug arguments actually are pro-legalization, pro-regulation arguments. Let's take a look at the story. Brits looking to ease their conscience over their involvement in bloody drug wars overseas are now being targeted by cynical dealers selling what they claim is ethically sourced cocaine. Users have revealed in high demand for the so-called woke coke at posh dinner parties across the UK. Drug policy expert Neil Woods told the Daily Mirror, when you can just tell the quality when they're quoting the Daily Mirror, "I've been shown ads for environmentally friendly sniff, but it's nothing but a very clever marketing ploy." He revealed that users were paying through the nose for the gimmick. So if we were here in the 20s during Prohibition here in the States, you could easily just take out woke coke with woke whiskey or woke beer, right? Because the reason why the cocaine is unethically sourced is because it's not regulated, because it's not legalized, right? At 200 pounds, that's $435 a gram. I call it a woke coke con, he said. But that's capitalism. Capitalism just seems to be one large con after another. Woods, you just go look at commercials. Commercials will show you that. Woods argued there was no way to produce environmentally friendly or ethically sourced cocaine. Well, that's not true. And it was another way to fuel the obscene amount of money being generated by the cocaine trade in the UK, which rakes in $4.95 billion annually. Sure, there's ways of ethically making drugs, right? One, you get rid of stupid drug wars. You revoke drug wars, and then I think you have a step closer to ethically sourced cocaine. Colombian aid worker Bibiana Villota told the Mirror that the claims were nonsense. I've never heard of woke coke, but I can tell you no one in Colombia produces cocaine ethically. I would say that probably the most sneakers produced in the world are not produced ethically, right? Like when I put on, I don't even know, my shoes, there's part of me that realizes that these are probably not ethically sourced. Is that even proper word? Ethically created, ethically made sneakers. The trade inevitably involves bloodshed, the destabilization of communities, and an appalling cycle of violence. If demand goes up, so does production, and the cycle of destruction continues. Well, that could just be describing late-stage capitalism. What you call fair trade cocaine is only going to be more greed and bloodshed. Yes, so that was a hit piece about woke coke. Whether or not it really exists, who knows? But it does seem to be arguing against the concept, against legalization, against trying to be ethical in terms of drug using. Gonna check out the chat. Let's see. David Paul. Hope you're doing well this morning, David Paul. Wild Eden's here. Hello, Wild Eden. Ethical drugs makes me think of ethical diamonds. There are people-made diamonds, right? Well, what? It's a funny thing. I saw this documentary on the diamond trade and about De Beers, the company De Beers, and completely sold me against diamonds. It seems like diamonds are not that uncommon, is that they're fairly common. And what has kept the price of diamonds so high is clever marketing and a near monopoly of diamonds by the De Beers company in the past. Scott, hey, Paul Camish, hope you're always doing well. Jessi Bear says, I was always more of a dog person, but as I get older, cats went out. Cats are self-cleaning. Good point. Good point, Jessi. All right. Hey, Glenn Chesterton, back from camping. The Chelsea crowd. Too much money, not enough brain matter. Well, there you go. All right. So you're asking me, what is going on in Jacksonville, Florida? Right? Because that's what I wonder. And actually, every once in a while, I do wonder about, I wonder what kind of crazy crap is going on in Florida right now. What kind of local Florida sinking into the ocean, which it will, most of it will at some point. Or Florida man stories, right? Florida man shoots pistol through his windshield. That was a real story that I covered on my blog, Laughing in Disbelief. But this is about the Delta variant and how it's affecting Jacksonville, Florida. And, well, I'm just going to share you the video. And it's not going to tell us anything we don't already know or something we haven't predicted on this show a number of times. Delta variant. This is the name of the video, everyone. Delta variant creating perfect storm in Jacksonville, expert warns. All right, let's take a gander here. The disaster, the ongoing biological disaster, viral disaster in Florida.
A warning tonight from UF Health for people who are not vaccinated. The COVID-19 Delta variant is spreading in Jacksonville at an alarming rate. News Project reporter Jim Piggott is live at the hospital. Jim, what are they seeing?
Well, in the past 2 weeks, they say the number of cases here, COVID-19, have doubled, and they suspect the majority of them are the Delta variant. We're also learning that there's also a big increase at other local hospitals as well. People in the hospital are sicker than in the past, and also most have not been vaccinated. Now, according to the infection prevention chief here at UF Health, he says he's just laying out a warning for everyone out there.
We're looking at literally thousands of new cases of COVID-19 here in the city or in the county of Duval last week alone. So It's not surprising. It's just not surprising. The Delta variant is more contagious. There's no limitations in public right now, and the vaccine rates have staggered. So it's the perfect storm that we're seeing, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon.
You know, that's right. He said thousands of cases within a week. So coming up all new at 6, we're going to break this down, show you how many people are hospitalized and the severity behind all of this. Plus, we're going to be taking a look at what the state health department is saying and particularly what they're not saying at this point. For now, we're live at UF Health, Jim Pickett, Channel 4, the local station. Cover a lot. First look.
Well, there you go, everyone. Jacksonville, Florida, right there. COVID rampaging, Delta variant rampaging through the state. Where will it end? Nothing but tears, at least for the unvaccinated, at least for people who don't wear masks, right? Grant Farmer, there is no ethical comedy. It is all made from pain. I would say, Grant Farmer, and I want to be an apologist here for comedy and comedians right now, is that, sure, it's made from pain, but it's there to ameliorate pain, if that's possible. Right? It's made there. You know, we might mill comedy and jokes from agony, but it is there to be a salve. That's what it is. I don't know if that makes sense. And Glenn Chesterton says, crazy crap in Florida is as rare as Tucker Ingram. You know, Glenn, you put in Tucker or Ingram, but I want to say Tucker Ingram. That's how I initially read it. And I think that's much funnier, to tell you the truth. So I'm going to spin it like that. Crazy crap in Florida is as rare as Tucker Ingram saying something racist. Because Tucker Ingram, you put those two words together. I like that. Well, this is also true, Wild Eden. Humor is a proven method of dealing with the crap that life throws at you. Yep. All right. What have we covered so far? Woke Coke. What the F is that? Just seems like something people talk about that isn't real. And of course, and in Jacksonville, Florida, getting, you know, the Delta variant just cutting through people, thousands of new infections, people jamming up the hospital rooms. CPAC twice a year. Yeah, CPAC is a twice a year thing. And as we would expect, there's a whole bunch of crazy. We covered yesterday about the 7-point plan on how to get Donald Trump back in office. If you didn't see that show yesterday where we covered that story, here's the hook. The plan is to elect Donald Trump into the House of Representatives, to make him, and then make him Speaker of the House, and then impeach Biden and Harris and get them out of office so Trump would become president again. Okay, so that's one crazy thing that happened at CPAC. Let's look at something else that happened at CPAC. CPAC priest, God created Earth, and that's all the science we need to know. That's from Meta, the friendly atheist, everyone. Yesterday, the right-wing CPAC event, well, this is on Sunday, everyone. On Sunday at the right-wing CPAC event in Texas, recently fired priest Reverend James Altman had the honor of delivering the opening prayers. Who's Altman? He's the guy who claimed true Catholics couldn't be Democrats, referred to climate change as a hoax, denounced COVID vaccines, and put his own congregation in harm's way by putting communion wafers directly in the mouths of members on Easter weekend. For all that, plus his refusal to resign, he was officially fired last week by the Diocese of La Crosse in Wisconsin. So this is the crazy clip. I actually have the clip of him saying this. I'm going to share it with you all, but I do just want to read it out loud first. So now and always, this is his opening prayer for CPAC. So now and always, let us realize our health is in the name of the Lord, who actually did make heaven and earth, and that's all the science we need to know. I try to say that like Lumpy Space Princess from Adventure Time. God proofed the world into existence, and not only is that science according to Altman, which it's not, it's all the science you need to know. So you want to see something crazy? You want to see the man saying the crazy words? It's one thing to hear the crazy words while I'm reading it, but let's take a look at the man reading the crazy words, saying the crazy words. Here it is.
So now and always, let us realize our help is in the name of the Lord, who actually did make heaven and earth, and that's all the science we need to know.
So you get the impression that he was definitely one of the anti-Galileo guys, right? If he was back in what, 17th century? Back in the 17th century when Galileo's like, hey, I got this awesome telescope that you can, we're going to look at the moons of Jupiter, and it looks like the moons of Jupiter circle around Jupiter. And yeah, I think good Father Altman there would be the one who cries out, he's a witch. He's a witch. Craziness, everyone. Glenn says, holy crap. While there are a few reasonable Republicans left, the party has been a clown show. This is true. This is the problem with the GOP, is that they've been pandering to the clown show for decades. Let's face it. Ever since Reagan has been pandering to the religious right. It has just created a system, the Republican Party, that is just given to these to be taken over by the religious right? By the worst aspects of our character, of our national character, just religious extremists. Didn't get a clap. Even the GOP thought he was crazy. All right, that's a good point. Let's go, dude. That's a good point. But this is the nature, and we're going to talk about revolutions. Right, we're going to talk about how revolutions work when we talk about Cuba after the break. But the nature of these kind of political movements is that radicals devour or take over the moderates, right, at a certain point. And we can see that with what's been going on with the Republican Party, like I said, since the 80s, is that this radical group will probably, that's in charge right now, the Trumpists, might even be taken over at some point in the future or devoured by even a more radical group. All right. So what are we doing here? It's 22 minutes into the show already. We've covered crazy CPAC priest, woke coke, and the Delta variant rampaging through Florida. So this is the halftime tummy rub show. Please like the video. I have it right here written down to please like the video, everyone. That does help. So halftime tummy rub show. So I want to tee up this joke, because you may not get the joke initially, because this woman is really funny, but this is a medieval peasant going to her therapist. So that's the setup for this bit. So once again, the short video I'm about to show is a comedian, and she's playing the part of a medieval peasant talking to their therapist. Let's do this thing.
I'm not going to say it was an hard week. It was, objectively, and I've been working on being more positive, but it was an objectively bad week. I think the thing that was probably like top 3 worst things, my dad was executed for trying to rebel against the king. The other thing is bubonic plague is back, and I think I'm just feeling exhausted from, the whole rigmarole of is it gone, is it back, and you just think, oh, we're getting back to life now, and then boom, there it goes again, and everyone's coughing up blood. And then the third thing was that the crops are failing, so potentially we are all going to starve to death this winter. But I am trying to live in the moment, like you said, so at the moment I'm not starving to death, so that's good. I guess the relationship with my mum could be better. I think I've been trying to work on it and say, we've got to communicate more, but obviously she does have leprosy and therefore her tongue has fallen out, so it is hard to communicate because neither of us can write. I've been trying my best to, look at the positive and everything. So like the other day, my best friend got possessed by a demon, and I thought, you know what? That's probably like a nice holiday for her. She doesn't have to do anything. The demon's in charge. I stopped blaming others for my problems, and I appreciate that. I mean, it is ultimately my fault because I am a sinner and I am damned to damnation and eternal hellfire. But that is also quite stressful to think about. day to day. Oh, before we finish, I think I might have ADHD. So could I get medication for that? No, there is no. Oh, it doesn't exist.
I'm sure none of us could empathize with the medieval peasant there, right? About plague, about radical Christianity affecting people's lives, about outside forces. Yeah, I thought that was worthy sharing with you, everyone. Can I check out the chat before we're going into the next story? Simply Secular Dave. I think, and this is just from me just taking a glance onto YouTube, sometimes I think the jokes, not my jokes, but the jokes I share in the comments, I think that might be a little too smart for the room sometimes, right? Sometimes everyone. Life is pain. Oh, you're singing my song, Grand Farmer. You just got to put on a ragtime beat to it and you can dance to it. Exactly. Boy, look at the Middle Ages and what they had to face, right? The end times have been here as long as mankind. Wow. Very poetic, Wild Eden. Very poetic. I like that. All right. Cubans are rioting. I've been listening, as many of you know, to the Revolutions podcast. The new episodes drop on Monday, and I have to tell you, I've been really excited about this part of the Revolutions podcast because this is really the meat and potatoes of the Russian Revolution that they're talking about. The series is about to enter the discussion of the democratic revolution because Russia had a democratic government in 1917 for a few months before the communists took over in October. So, and one of pieces of wisdom that the host related to his listeners is that if you really want to start a revolution, or nothing creates a revolution faster than bread lines. If you're standing in a bread line for hours and talking to other people who are hungry, then yeah, that is fertile ground for revolution. And let's switch over to Cuba and see what's going on there. We're so hungry. Why Cubans are taking to the streets in the biggest protests in decades. More than 10,000 protesters hit the streets on the communist island in the most widespread social unrest seen since the 1990s. Let's take a gander. Thousands of Cubans took to the streets this past weekend in 90-degree heat to protest the country's communist regime in a shocking display of public rage not seen since 1994. Though discontentment with the government has simmered since the beginning of the pandemic, recent food and medicine shortages coupled with the newest surge in COVID-19 infections, prompted the latest protests, a rare sight on the communist island. They're cutting off the electricity in poor areas for almost 12 hours a day. There are places where the lights haven't been on for 3 days. No, they're not talking about Texas, everyone. They're talking about Cuba. We're exhausted, a supporter in Central Habana told Vice World News by phone. Protests against the regime in December consisted of a few dozen artists standing in front of the Ministry of Culture in Havana, quietly demanding freedom of expression. But this time around, over 10,000 people demonstrated in at least 19 Cuban cities, shouting, looting, and throwing rocks at police officers. Protesters who spoke with Vice World News said chants such as "We are not afraid" became louder and louder as the streets filled with people felt the safety of numbers. Sure, if you have a crowd already out on the street, then it's far more likely that you will go out in the street to protest. In several cities, counter-protesters arrived to aid the police, shouting "Viva Fidel." Several government sources claimed the protesters were paid, while the Cuban government paper, Grama, conceded that some well-meaning yet misled Cubans were probably there as well. The government turned off internet access to the island in a vain attempt to quell communication between protesters, while eyes were fixated on the protests. Several prominent Cuban activists and journalists disappeared, and some have not been heard from since. There are missing. Those still missing include anti-government activists like Luis Manuel Otero Alcala, I believe that's the correct pronunciation of his name, I'm not sure, who is often detained and subsequently released by police. This morning, U.S. President Joe Biden released a statement in support of the protesters, saying the Cuban government should hear their people and serve their needs at this vital moment rather than enriching themselves. Okay, so there is still a U.S. blockade on Cuba. There was an interesting Freakonomics episode, the podcast episode, about whether or not blockades actually do any good. It turns out oftentimes they don't. A majority of the time, blockades of countries do not work. And when they do work, it's basically a 50-50 shot of making the situation worse or getting what you want. But there's been a blockade on Cuba for quite a while, as many of you probably already know. And that is definitely aiding to the food crisis going on there right now. What's up, Samy? Glad to see that you're here. And Simply Secular Dave goes, what if the end times actually refers to the dawn of man, the beginning of the end? Deep thought. Simply Secular Dave. Deep thought. Well, you're right, Theo. Blockades are an act of warfare. Yeah, they are. Yeah. Well said. All right. So my heart goes out to the Cuban people. Yeah. Obama did take a few steps to warm up the relationship between the States and Cuba. Trump, of course, being Trump, rescinded those actions, right? Just because Obama did it, Trump was against it. And just like with everything else, right? COVID-19 exacerbates. COVID-19 worsens, whether it is whatever pre-existing conditions you have as a person, health issues, but also the pre-existing conditions, the issues that you have in a society, right? That's just the way how plagues work. If you have issues going on in the society, plague is a stress that'll make that situation worse. Deep thought with Jack Handy. Yeah, that's right. Good enough, smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like us. You want to see the world's deadliest cat? Wow. Just awkward transitions today. Now, you may say that this next piece isn't really news, but it is educational. The girlfriend did send me this video yesterday. And this cat, by one metric, is the world's deadliest cat. Here we go. Before we get into the world's deadliest cat, theoretically says, I can recommend the Gray Zone for details about Cuba. The Western media are dishonestly reporting it. I can see that theoretically, yeah. All right. World's deadliest cat, everyone. World's deadliest cat. Let's do this thing. Deadliest cat on earth. From the BBC News. At first, I didn't believe this was real. But then it's like from the BBC One. Well, maybe this is the world's deadliest cat.
Guided by superb night vision and responding to the tiniest sounds. Anything that moves is a potential meal. She'll even eat locusts. But she prefers gerbils. Or if that doesn't work, birds. with a wiggle to tuck her legs in. She gets as low to the ground as possible. Primed like a spring, she can deliver maximum power. To jump. She hits her target 60% of the time. It's what makes black-footed cats the most lethal hunters in the entire cat family.
All right. Who would have thought that wee cat has a higher kill percentage over any other cat? And it looks like one of the British short-haired cats, right? With the wee legs and everything, but they can jump really far. She is adorable. That is hilarious. A mid-air catch. All right. Grant Farmer says there is one cat that some think was single-pawedly responsible for the extinction of an entire species of bird. I could see that. Domestic cats, if let outside, will decimate local bird populations. Let's see. I think we caught up with everyone here. That is a cute cat. Glenn Chesterton says he just got his second vaccine. Congratulations, Glenn, for getting your second vaccine. Except for my tail growing longer and Bill Gates following me at the required 6 feet apart. I'm fine. Glad to hear that you're no after effect, no side effects, Glenn. What's up, Dee Parks? Hope you're doing okay. Hope you're doing well. All right. Oh, I see what you did there. There should be a series, Deadliest Cat, about all the things these cats catch. Indeed. All right. What have we covered so far? If you're just tuning in, woke cocaine, CPAC priest saying crazy things, the Delta variant just creating havoc in Florida, Cubans revolting, and of course the world's deadliest cat, and sovereign citizen. We got to talk about sovereign citizens every once in a while, right? Because they're a part of the rioters on January 6th. This woman here, she's sovereign. Jesus, maybe she's sovereign, but Jesus is Lord. How can you be sovereign when you're a slave to Jesus? It's one of the great questions of all times, isn't it? Like jumbo shrimp, military intelligence. I'm a sovereign citizen, but I'm a slave to the Lord. All caps, of course, the Lord. Let's check out this story. Capitol riot defendant who threatened to hang Nancy Pelosi said she didn't need an attorney because she was divinely immune from the court's laws. Divinely immune from the court's laws. You know, how can you even be surprised at that microphone? It's only Tuesday. I'm talking to the microphone. How can you be surprised at a Capitol rioter saying that they're immune from man's laws, from human laws, because they serve the Lord? A Pennsylvania pizzeria owner arrested and charged in connection to the January 6th Capitol attack demanded the removal of any and all defense attorneys on her behalf, arguing that she is a divine entity immune from the court's laws. Prosecutors say Pauline Bauer was among the hundreds of pro-Trump protesters who broke into the U.S. Capitol on January 6th in an attempt to halt the certification of Joe Biden's presidency. Bauer attempted to organize mass transportation to bus people to D.C. for the Trump rally that preceded the attack. And once inside the building, she told police she wanted to kill House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, court documents said. Can you imagine what it's like working with that for that woman? I mean, you know, pizzas, fascists. You're serving up fascist pizzas in subs. Bring Nancy Pelosi out here right now, Bauer can be heard saying in body-worn camera footage from inside the Capitol Rotunda, according to prosecutors. We want to hang that FNB. Now, in a series of bizarre court filings made late last month, Bauer is insisting on representing herself, of course she is, and claiming to have special legal privileges as a governed individual. When I was a big L libertarian years ago, now this is like 20 years ago, everyone, in my defense. There was a lot of talk in the big L libertarian circles about being a sovereign citizen, about how to protect yourself from big government and how we are self-sovereigns. The government laws really do not affect us. That was the big thing with the big L libertarians. Bring Nancy Pelosi right now. I just said that. Let's go to the next slide. At the June 21st hearing, Bauer refused to accept the conditions of her release and was jailed overnight as a result, according to court documents. She was later released on personal recognizance after verbally agreeing to the required pretrial release conditions. I don't know why these people are being released on personal recognizance. Oh, I know why. Because they're white, right? That's why. Let's face it. If their skin color was brown or black, either shot or being held in jail without bail. Days later, she submitted several filings full of far-right conspiracies mounting on apparent sovereign citizens' defense. Subscribers to the pseudoscience movement believe that they, not judges, juries, law enforcement, or elected officials, should decide which laws to obey and which to ignore, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. So, for those of you who are acquainted with U.S. history, there was this principle of nullification, right? That individual states could nullify federal laws. There was an issue during Andrew Jackson's presidency about South Carolina supporting nullification of federal laws it didn't like. And of course, the Civil War was partly based on it was all about slavery. Let's just say that. But part of the issues, the nuts and bolts, was nullifying. So let's say for the southern states. So let's say Georgia or South Carolina, if they were able to nullify federal laws, then it doesn't matter what the federal government did. Crazy stuff. So, all right, I want to make this point clear, is that while states don't have the power to nullify federal laws, sovereign citizens believe they can nullify on their own for themselves laws, state laws, local laws, federal laws. So they have the power, just being a citizen of the United States, to nullify laws. In one filing, Bauer included a patent of nativity, a document which she claimed serves as proof that her living DNA existed in this land before there was a United States of America or any state, all in caps, everyone, thereof. The document includes a detailed genealogy of both her mother and her father's ancestry. You know who else probably can prove that they were here before there was any United States of America, Native Americans? Did that help them regarding federal laws? I don't think so. Or state laws? I don't think so. No. It's just this kind of fantasy world these lunatics are living in. And check out the chat. I love cats more than people, not going to lie. Yeah, I can support that, Dee. I support you with that. Let's see. And this is true for Glenn Chesterton. A person representing themselves have fools for clients. Never more relevant than now. True enough. I think. Oh, hey. I should have a wish list. Oh, I do have a wish list. And I never put it, and I never promote it because I'm really bad at promoting stuff on this channel. And tell me if I'm okay. I'm gonna finish up about the rioter who thinks that she is self-sovereign, can nullify federal laws and state laws and local laws. Scott Duke says, I thought I was divinely immune from the calories and milkshakes from Sonic. So I couldn't stand up from the chair without having, taking the chair with me. Very good, Scott. Glenn says, you're trying to understand the rationale of a Christian Trump supporter. That's all on you, Dr. Kennard. It is. That is me. I guess part of my job here. My job here on the channel is to be an idiot whisperer, right? To try to translate, Trumpese to all of you. Maybe how they rationalize their lives, how they think. All right. I think I covered everything. So as a side note, and I should have put this in the announcements earlier in this show, that I figured out what Dr. Kennard's PhD is in, and it's in cryptology. So whenever I make cards for myself, for Dr. Kennard, it'll be my PhD is in cryptology. I haven't figured out what my thesis was in, or what my area of specialty is in cryptology, but I thought I would share that with you all. All right, news stories that we covered today before we start winding. I guess we're winding things up right now. Woke cocaine, ethically sourced cocaine. CPAC priest who said that you don't need science, all you need is Jesus, because Jesus is science. I don't think that works, Andy. I don't think that works. The Delta variant crushing Florida, the unvaccinated. Cubans revolting. The rioter, of course, the Capitol rioter who says that she's a sovereign citizen and is acting as her own lawyer, and just printed up some kind of weird, what was it, DNA document to show that her family existed before the United States of America, so that makes her immune to laws. How odd is that? And of course, the most deadliest cat in the world. That's what it is. Those are the stories we covered. Wocaine. That's right, Scott Duke. Wocaine. Brilliant song by Eric Clapton, right? Oh, John Hudson, you missed all the good parts. That's right, Dr. Kennard, cryptologist. All right, let's do something funny here before we tie things up. Oh, I should also mention that, of course, we do the after party after show. The after party after show is an open room. I believe the link should be in the description if you want to be on the panel. That starts from 10 to 11 today, everyone. 10 to 11. So, pop on over. We talk about anything and everything. So, bring your issues, bring your concerns. I don't know, talk about the projects you're working on. But that's at 10 o'clock. Like I said, if you want to be on the panel, link is in the description. All right. Something funny. Maybe something cute more than something funny. I don't know. It's for you to decide.
Broccoli, apples, pears, bananas, carrots, chicken.
That cat knows what it's all about. I posted that video. I think it was on my Facebook page. The cats. I have a Facebook page named Cats, everyone. That's the title of the cats page. So I put that up on. I thought that was cute, right? That cat knows chicken. Knows what it's like. Broccoli, no. Chicken, yes. 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central Time. True enough, Grand Farmer. Thank you. All right. You'll listen when you're clean. Very good, David Paul. Very good. And Dee, thank you for reminding me. Please hit the like button, everyone, because that does help. It spreads out the humor. It shows people that wouldn't have seen the video an opportunity to see the video. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. All right, I'm going to go grab myself my second cup of coffee for today, because that is really needed right here, right now. And I'm going to show the thank you video, and then I'll see you all at 10 a.m. hopefully, right? Okay. Take care. So I'm just looking at Wild Eden. Yeah, this is a little something extra at the end of the show. Wild Eden, are they making a Sandman movie? I remember hearing buzz that there was going to be a Sandman movie. I don't know if that's still in the works or even, but could be in production. I don't know. All right. Take care, everyone. I'll see you at 10. Hopefully.